What if the quietest man on the base was the only one brave enough to defend the girl everyone mocked, only to discover she outranked them all? If you're new here, make sure you like the video and subscribe, because today's story will stay with you long after it ends. A cold wind swept across Falcon Ridge military base as dawn crept in, carrying the scent of metal, concrete, and worn-out boots. Inside the maintenance wing, Ethan Cole, single dad, janitor, and former infantryman whose past few believed, pushed his cart through the hallway. His hands were cracked from chemicals, his back stiff from double shifts, but his eyes were warm. He worked quietly, invisibly, like the base wanted him to. Most days, no one even looked at him. But today felt different. As he reached the courtyard, he heard laughter, sharp, cruel, the kind that twists into your chest like a blade. A small cluster of young soldiers stood around a woman who looked lost, her duffel bag slipping off one shoulder. She wore plain civilian clothes, dark jeans, a simple jacket, and a white cap pulled low. No rank, no patches, no one important, at least, that's what the soldiers assumed. The tallest soldier, Rodriguez, smirked. "Hey, sweetheart, this isn't the visitor's center. Maybe you took a wrong turn on your way to the mall." Another chimed in, "Yeah, this is a military base. Classified stuff. Not for, whatever you are." The woman shifted uncomfortably. Her voice was soft but steady. "I'm supposed to report here. I have authorization." The group exploded with laughter. Ethan froze. He'd seen this before, good people crushed under louder voices, soldiers who forgot honor the second a superior wasn't watching. He felt that old instinct stirring inside him, the same one he tried to bury after the war, after losing his wife, after becoming the single father everyone pitied but few respected. He stepped forward. "Hey," Ethan said, wiping his hands on a rag. "Back off." 7 young soldiers turned toward him, mocking smirks instantly forming. Rodriguez scoffed. "Stay out of this, janitor. This is soldier business." Ethan met his eyes calmly. "Then act like soldiers. She's done nothing wrong." They laughed harder. "What, you're bodyguard now? What's she paying you with, leftover cafeteria cookies?" The woman lowered her gaze, embarrassed. Ethan felt something inside him twist. He remembered his daughter, Lily, 12 years old, shy, easily overwhelmed. He imagined her in this woman's place, surrounded, humiliated, scared. That image alone made him step forward until he stood between the woman and the soldiers. "You don't need to talk to her," Ethan said quietly. "You're done here." Rodriguez took one step closer. "You gonna make us leave?" Ethan's voice remained steady. "If I have to." The courtyard fell silent. The soldiers looked at each other, confused, then amused, but also unsettled. Ethan wasn't big or loud, but there was something in his posture, something disciplined, something dangerous, though he never spoke of the uniform he once wore, or the battles he never boasted about. Finally, the woman spoke. "Thank you," she whispered. Ethan nodded gently. "Don't mention it." The soldiers muttered insults under their breath as they dispersed. The tallest glared at Ethan. "You're gonna regret stepping into soldier business, janitor." Ethan simply pushed his cart again, heart pounding but face calm. He had faced far worse in his life than insults. When he turned back, the woman was still there. "Are you okay?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "Thanks to you. You didn't have to stand up for me." He shrugged. "Someone should've." She studied his face for a long moment, as if trying to figure something out. "I'm new here. First day. I was told to keep a low profile until the formal briefing." "Oh," Ethan said. "Well, I can walk you to the admin building." She hesitated. "Are you sure? I don't want to pull you away from your job." He chuckled softly. "Trust me, the floors can wait." They walked together quietly. Ethan kept his pace slow so she wouldn't feel rushed. The woman glanced at his badge. "Ethan," she said. "That's a good name. And yours?" She hesitated, then finally said, "Mira." "Well, Mira, welcome to Falcon Ridge. It's not always like, whatever that was." She smiled. "I've seen worse. But defending a stranger, that meant something." They reached the admin entrance. Before Ethan could speak, a black SUV rolled up, tires crunching against gravel. The doors flew open. Officers jumped out instantly, saluting. Ethan blinked. Saluting her. The woman beside him stood straighter, removing her cap. Her hair fell over her shoulders. And for the first time, Ethan saw her real expression, calm authority mixed with razor-sharp intelligence. The senior officer rushed forward. "Admiral Mira Harrington, ma'am. We were told you would arrive tomorrow. We weren't prepared." The soldiers, words collided in Ethan's mind. "Admiral. This woman. The same one mocked in the courtyard." Ethan stepped back instinctively, stunned. But she turned to him first. "Ethan," she said softly, "thank you again. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you who I was." "Orders." He opened his mouth, speechless. "Ma'am, I didn't know." She shook her head. "You defended someone you had no obligation to. That says more about your character than any rank I've ever worn." The officers looked confused. Why was their new admiral smiling at a janitor? Then everything changed in seconds. "Ma'am, who escorted you here?" the senior officer asked. She pointed to Ethan. The officer frowned. "Him. He's maintenance staff." The admiral's expression hardened. "He's the only one who acted with honor today." The officer paled. She stepped toward Ethan, lowering her voice. "Is this job what you want? Truly want?" Ethan swallowed. "It pays the bills. And I need medical insurance for my daughter. So, yes. It's enough." She studied him again, reading the pain behind his steady exterior. "You served before," she said, not a question. A certainty. He nodded once. She didn't ask questions. Instead, she said something that stole his breath. "Report to my office tomorrow at 0800. No uniform needed." "For what?" he asked. "To discuss what role you actually deserve." By afternoon, news spread across the base like wildfire. The soldiers who mocked her were reprimanded, their attitudes publicly addressed by the Admiral herself. And Ethan, just a janitor, became the man everyone wanted to know. That night, he returned home to Lily. She was eating cereal on the couch, humming a tune. He hugged her tighter than usual. "What's wrong, Dad?" she asked. "Nothing," he said with a smile. "For once, nothing's wrong." The next morning, he sat across from Admiral Mira Harrington in her new office. She looked at him with sincere respect. "You have leadership potential," she told him. "Real leadership. The kind you can't teach. If you're willing, I can help you train, certify, and take on something better, safer, higher paid, and far more fitting for who you are." Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in years. "Hope. I'm willing," he said. Months passed. Ethan trained quietly but intensely under the Admiral's guidance, supervising logistics, learning base coordination, even mentoring younger staff. His confidence returned piece by piece. Lily saw her father walk taller. She saw him smile more. By the end of the year, Admiral Harrington pinned a new badge onto Ethan's chest in front of the entire base. Not a janitor badge. Operations coordinator. A respected role. A leadership role. A role that meant something. As she pinned it, she whispered, "All because you defended someone when no one else would. The world needs more men like you." Ethan's eyes stung, but he held steady. The soldiers who once mocked him now saluted him. And the new recruits heard stories, not of a janitor, but of a man who proved that rank doesn't define courage. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Your support brings these stories to life. Because sometimes, the quietest people change everything.